I say drink more water. He says drink more water. So obviously you should be drinking more goddamn water. What's going on, everybody? It's the Granddad Woolly, and you are here again for another edition of Woolly Reviews Hip Hop Data. We got an album review today when we talking about the brand new album that just fucking dropped from a nigga from Chicago that loves giving motherfuckers water because apparently they're thirsty as shit. This nigga's back. He dropped his official debut. We gonna talk about the shit. And by we, I don't mean just me. I hooked up with the homeboy Luke James, aka Mr. Not the Singer, aka Threes All Day, and we talked about this new fucking album from Mick Jenkins entitled The Healing Component. Now for those who don't know, Mick Jenkins, like I said, is a Chicago MC who's been doing big things for a few years. He dropped this crazy mixtape, The Waters, and then he also dropped Waves, which were both dope as fuck. But now he's on some official album shit. So now let's see if The Healing Component is a dope ass album that heals our hearts and our souls, or if it's a whack ass plague that eats away at our shit until we die a slow whack death. Let's talk about the shit. All right, y'all, so here we go. We are here with the homie Luke James, and we about to talk about this Mick Jenkins album. But before we do that shit, hold up. Drink more water, goddammit. Shit. Okay, Luke, I'm gonna let you kick this off, bro. Tell me what you think about this Luke James album. Not Luke James album, Mick Jenkins album. You got an album too?
I think there's a singer out there who might have an album. I don't know. Not 100% sure on that. But, you know, up until this point, I've been saying Anderson .Paak's Malibu album is my favorite album of the year. And it is still one of my favorites. But I'm going to slide that over to the R&B category because that's more where it will fit. But this shit right here might be my favorite hip-hop album of the year, man. I think Mick Jenkins absolutely delivered with this one. He gave me everything that I wanted to hear as a fan. We know with the Waters mixtape, he was doing much more rapping over this atmospheric production. And then on Waves, he actually experimented a bit more with some funky sounds. He was doing more singing and harmonizing. So with the Healing Component, I feel like he did a great job of blending all that together. And that's exactly what I wanted him to do. Even with some of these singles, he really got a lot of people talking. I like that Spread Love joint. It has those nice keys on there. Spread love, spread love. You know what I mean?
You sure you ain't the singer? You sure you ain't the singer, bro?
that shit was just so smooth, man. And I like the message of this album. I like how it is just about love. You know, you have those little interview clips where he's explaining his philosophies and his ideas. It's just such a positive album, and I like that he did that. Now, with the other single, Drowning, I wasn't too sure about that one the first time I heard it because it was so different. Just the way that beat sort of plodded along so slowly, although there was that great instrumentation on the outro. So I actually didn't review that song because I wanted to hear it in the context of the whole album because I thought maybe it would resonate better, and it definitely did, man. When I listened to this album from start to finish, I heard that song, I was like, oh shit, I get it now. I see how it fits in there, just the whole theme of it, even the sound of it. And this album to me was like an experience. I know it sounds kind of cheesy to say that, but the first time I listened to it, man, I put my headphones on. I was down here in my little basement at night, and I just vibed with it beginning to end. And it was just like, there were a lot of powerful moments, man. His lyricism was great. I think even his singing on this was good. I mean, he's not trying to hit all kinds of crazy notes or anything like that, but it sounded very smooth. It was very catchy. I think he knocked this one out of the park, to be honest with you. But before I go into my favorite songs, least favorites, and all that shit, what did you think about this one, Woolly?
Man, you know what, dude? We think the same too goddamn much because this album, like you said, is fucking fire, dude. Like now, like I slept on Mick Jenkins for a hot minute, dude. Like for real, I'm mad about this shit. Like I didn't listen to Waters and Waves until like a few months ago. And I was like, yo, this motherfucker's dope. And he's from Chicago, and I'm born from Chicago, and he reminds me so much of Chicago artists. Like, I get a do or die feel from him, a crucial conflict. He says, I mean, he gives me that fucking vibe. So I really like, I was like, yo, this dude is dope. And then when I popped this shit in, I was like, holy fucking shit, Mick Jenkins. God damn it, nigga, what the fuck was you? Woo! Where do I start? First of all, the production on here is so fucking crazy dope. And the funny thing about it is, like I hate to hark on Isaiah Rashad, but this is like if Isaiah to see how this album is like really moody and low key throughout the whole way, but this is done the right way. If Isaiah Rashad would have did it this way, that album would have been fire. That's what I'm saying. This is what I wanted from Isaiah. So sorry, Isaiah, Mick did it right this time, but Mick just killed it, and he just the concept of love and how he just was able to just you know, created in so many different ways, talking from his love of like Jesus and drugs and, you know, the love that he wants to give and the love that he sees he's not receiving. And, you know, just it's like he just goes so many avenues, but he does it in such a dope and interesting way that you just get captivated by this album, and like everything just falls into place perfectly. And like you could tell he thought this album out from front to back way, 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 way too good, like for anybody to even comprehend. Like I just can't. I was speechless with this album, dude. Like I mean, this is literally like, yeah, this is literally in my top 5 of the year easily, because like I'm a Mick Jenkins fan 100%. Like I just was like, wow, I had to listen to this shit repeatedly, and I just got more and more things out of it. Like the lyricism was on point. Like I said, the production was on point, concept. Like there was not a single thing in here that I said Mick Jenkins did wrong. And like I rarely say that about an album, but I couldn't pick out anything that I was like, yo, Mick, you fucked up on that one. Like drink more water, goddammit. Like there's something in that goddamn water that he's doing. So there's something to that shit.
I definitely agree with you about the production. It is very mellow and low key. And a lot of the time, I don't know what it is exactly. I think there was something said on Twitter between Mick and Isaiah before. I'm not 100% sure on that. But people often ask, who do you prefer, Isaiah or Mick Jenkins? That has been a conversation in the hip hop world for a while now. And if you had to ask me before both of these albums came out, I probably would have said Isaiah, because Sylvia Demo is my shit. I know I harp and go on and on about that a lot, but it's just my shit. And it still is my shit. And I am still an Isaiah fan, despite not liking his last record that much. But if you ask me right now, man, I gotta go with Mick. Hands down. Just this was such a focused project. The lyricism on this, I thought there was some next level shit on it. Just like you said, as I listen more and more, I'm picking up on more things. He has all these lines where he's talking about black affirmation. There's all this love content on it, and that song Plugged. Oh man, that shit.
Oh man,
so smooth.
Oh man, don't get me started on Plugged. Do not get me started on Plugged. That is my shit, yo. Woo.
Yeah, that. Just the singing on that, how smooth it was. It kind of gave me some 3 Stacks vibes. There's just a lot of good songs on here that I really liked. The production was great. It was very dynamic, because even though it was smooth and mellow, there were a lot of switch ups. There were instruments coming in and out. Just a lot of different things were happening with it. So it didn't really get boring. It didn't drag on for me. Although I think if people were to skim this project, they might think that. They might find it kind of dull, but you really have to listen to this one. Yeah. Like I said, I think it's an experience. You can't really just kind of pick and choose, click through this one and decide if you like it or not. I think you really have to give it the full listen to really take it in, which, as reviewers, we do with any project anyway, but some people will just click through a couple songs and make their mind up. I don't think you can do that with this one, because there's so much to sift through. There's so much going on. Shout out to K Tronada, man, because the beats he brought to this shit were crazy. On 1,000 Zans, where Mick was sort of just touching on the topic of substance abuse, which does come up on some of these other tracks as well. And that funky beat he had on Communicate, man, that was some flames, man.
That shit had me moving. That shit had me moving and grooving. I'm like, yo, K Tronada, that's my dude right now, for real.
We also just got to shout out some of the features on this. On Communicate, there was Raven Lene. You have The Mind. There was also No Name was featured on that song, Angles. And even though I'm not the biggest fan of her, I think her flow, it's different. I don't think she's trash by any means, so I'm not saying that at all. I like that she has her own unique style. It's just not personally for me, but I think she was even great on that Angles song. And there's another guy. What was his name? Oh, shit.
J Stop? Was it J Stop?
Yes, man.
J Stop killed it. Yo, like, I wanted to touch on J Stop, like, on Plug. The line he said, was he on Plug? Yeah, was he on Plug?
No, it was Love Robert Horry.
Love Robert Horry. Yeah, that was one of my favorites, too. But he said the line, I got it right here. Yo, and he just fucking, that line was crazy. He says, every line hit like a projectile from the 9, take a piece out of your melon, tingle down your spine. It's how you know the truth, the feeling can't be defined. My nigga is Free Nation, we water turned into wine. I'm like, woo!
Yeah, he had lines. He had lines all over that. He had another one, pictures too intense make you have to press rewind because everything's microwave and they don't ever take time.
I know. I was like, this nigga, who is J Stock? What the fuck? Like, where this nigga been at? Because, like, he has been killing. But that Love Robert Horry song in general is, like, a dope-ass song. Like, the beat on there is fucking crazy. I love, like, how he did, the ode to Robert Horry. Because, like if you ain't a basketball dude, Robert Horry is, like, that dude who's, like, the unsung hero of his teams. He's always,
yeah, man. He
made them clutch shots when it came down to it. And he never really got, like, his just due. And, like, that's what he's pretty much saying, like, who he is. He's like, yo, I'm like pretty much the unsung hero of this like Chicago and this hip hop shit, and nobody's giving me my just due yet. But like, yo, like I'll be the Robert Horry if you want me to be that. But like, you know, it's just a dope way he just, you know, came across that concept, and then the song is just fire though, for real though. And angles, like I think No Name killed that joint. Like No Name, like her Gypsy, her mixtape, like I thought it was cool too. But this fucking feature, like her flow was just like on point. Like she was just going over that beat like butter. So I was like, yo, okay, I fuck with No Name. I'm gonna check out more of her stuff in the future. Another dope song I like, you know, I want to go back to Daniel's Bloom. I think that beat on there, that hard hitting, just crazy, like gritty menacing beat. But I like how he was talking about like just, you know, being in Chicago, and you know, he's trying to like he's trying to show love, but he's also seeing these people who like are growing up in this like world of hate, and he's trying to like decide like, yo, should I, you know, show these people love, or should I just feed into what they're doing because, you know, they don't recognize what love is, or they don't even think love exists. And I just like the concept of that because of what's happening in Chicago. I grew up in that type of environment, so I know what he's talking about, and it's just like, that really hit with me because I'm like, yo, I know exactly what this nigga's talking about, because there's a lot of motherfuckers out there that will hate you for a lot of reasons and will take it to a level that don't need to be taken to. And like Mick just like, I just want to show some love to these niggas and give them some goddamn water and weed, nigga. That's what he wants to do. Just let Mick give you water and weed and you be good, for real.
Yeah, he's really humble on this project too. There are just a lot of lines and a lot of moments where he's saying, you know, he's not really that concerned with being on the level of some of these other MCs, as long as you give him credit for the work that he is doing. He has that line about how, you know what, at least I'm getting kids in Chicago to drink more water. That's got to count for something, which might sound kind of silly, but it does, man. You got to get that water in you. You know, you got to have that in you. That's right. And I don't know who's going to surpass this album. I mean, it all comes down to opinions, and a lot of people are going to like this. A lot of people might dislike it, but I think there's a strong debate for this being the greatest hip hop album of the year. At least it has to be one of them, man. I just really enjoyed this one, everything about it. It is the type of album you can come back to and keep getting more from. Just there's so many themes on here, and just the content is so strong. Coming back to Drowning, where, you know, he's just talking about the racial tensions. At least that's how I took that song. I think you could take that song in a lot of different ways, but obviously with the video, with the slave shit going on, that sort of brings that all together. But I just like the way how he was talking about how he can't breathe with the motherfucking flag around his neck. He needs some ventilation. So it's just a track about dealing with the pressures and obstacles that I think everyone faces, but Black people in America in particular. So man, he was speaking a lot of truth on this project. He didn't really waste too many of his bars. He did have a couple more lighthearted tracks like Communicate. That was just your fun, more funky type of track. But for the most part, he was on point with this one, man.
Yeah, man, I gotta agree with you. Like, especially with Drowning, I like the Bad Bad Not Good production on there. I think it fit really well for the subject and the theme that he was talking about. And like he was saying, I like the subject he was talking the subject matter in general he was talking about, because he really did hit on a lot of just like deep social issues, but he did it in his way that was just so dope and so unique that it just captivates you. And I like the outro too, the fucked up outro. And I like that because he pretty much just kind of summed it up to the point. He's like, yo, like pretty much I'm not settling. Like, yo, I'm dope. I'm the shit. Like, you know, y'all slept on me. Y'all hated on me. And now that, you know, I'm getting all the recognition I deserve, I'm going to take everything I deserve. I'm not going to, you know, I'm not going to play your game. I'm not going to do what you think I should do. You know, I'm going to, you know, take this power and the status that I've reached, and I'm going to really put it towards something. I really think it's dope because it just rounds out that whole concept of him just being a more humble, a more, you know, developed, mature dude, and just realizing what's really important to his career and his life as well, and what he wants to do. So I just think like, and then the production is dope on there. So, and the singing on there, who sung on that? I'm trying to remember the name. Michael Anthony. Yeah, the hook on there was just real smooth. It just closed it out so perfectly. And I mean, I do not see a flaw in this album. And like you're saying, like I don't see an album this year contending just the level of detail and creativity and just focus of this album. Like, I don't know who dropping in the next few months, but I mean, this is clearly top 5 of the year. I don't think top 5 of the year, clearly, probably top of the year, but shit, like Mick Jenkins right now got the hottest album of the year out right now, and I will say that strongly. Like, no question.
I agree with you completely. I don't know who is going to top this. As a Mick Jenkins fan, it was everything I wanted. Now, I don't think it's perfect. There was one song on here I didn't really care for, and that was As Seen in Bethsaida. The beat on that, I found the beat on that was a bit too busy. It was a bit jumbly. It is a song that might grow on me over time, but I did find it a little bit grating. It was easily my least favorite track on there, but for the most part, this shit was on point. I especially liked the opening track, the title track, the way those horns creep in, like the beat slowly builds up. And got that thick ass bass on there that comes in, man.
Like, no, man, crazy.
Like that's what I liked about this production is even though it's so smooth and mellow, if you turn that shit up, you definitely are going to get some knock out of it.
It's knocking. It knocks. Yeah, it definitely knocks. But at the same time, with the production, it changes. It builds. It breaks down. It gives emotion. It takes you through a journey. So it's like you're not just getting some bland, laid back production. It's like, and then it fits what Mick is talking about. Every beat that he's on, it's like it's perfectly matched up with his lyricism. So it's like, it's just like you can tell he just thought this out so fucking well. Like I'm still speechless about the album because I'm like, I did not expect this album to be as good as it was because like I'm just getting fresh into Mick Jenkins and I like this stuff, but this is like shit, nigga. Like what? Like for real? Like this set the bar. This set the bar for creativity, concept albums for this year. I don't know who else is gonna be able to come out and like really do something to the level that Mick has done. Like nigga, get that nigga a case of water for this shit for real.
So what do you feel for a score? How would you rank this one?
You already know, Luke. I'm giving this shit 100%. Granddad approved, nigga. Granddad approved. You know it. Come on now. Ain't no questioning that. What about you? What you got to say?
I got this at a 4.5, man. I didn't go with the 5. I didn't like that one song. There are a couple of moments, I think, where it can be a little bit dull. Not too much, because for the most part, there is a lot of great lyricism, and there are beats that do change up a lot, but it wasn't a perfect album. It doesn't need to be a perfect album. It's damn close. It's a great album. I think it's the album of the year so far. And now we just got to see if it's going to go down as a classic. I'm curious to see what other people think about this one, but I love this shit. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, man. Like, so, I mean, now we got to see what Mick going to do next. How can he top this? Like, I don't fucking know. I'm scared. Because, like, if he does better than this, I'm not gonna rap no more, Luke. It ain't no reason to do it no more. I'm going to just hang it up because this nigga done everything I could possibly ever think of doing. But he has, like, literally become one of my, over the past couple of months, he's become one of my favorite rappers, and I'm definitely looking out for what he's doing next. And shit, like, yo, Mick, like, dude, congratulations on like an amazing fucking album, and like I'm gonna be playing this shit throughout the year into next year, like because like shit, it's fucking crazy. But thank you, Luke James, for coming on.
Thanks for having me, man.
And talking about this. We're gonna do this again once in a while, and if you enjoyed this, let us know. Hit up the homie Luke on his channel. He's doing big things over there, doing all kinds of crazy reviews on the indie tip and the major tip. And also check me out, and I got the CD case studies as well as the Woolly Reviews. Doing a lot of dope shit. Got a new shirt too, nigga. Cotton shirt, fresh Granddad Woolly shirt on deck if you want to holler at that. And I mean, I got nothing more to say. So until next time I take my leave, Granddaughter, Luke James, Mick Jenkins, the healing component. Shit's fucking fire, and you better get some goddamn water.
Rest in peace, Shorty Low.
Yeah, rest in peace, Shorty Low. They know. I'm out of here.